Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to talk about the controversial sharing of your medical data to those who will intend to profit from it, potentially at your expense as well. And I'd also like to discuss the system for opting out of this poorly publicised scheme. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news in politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So this July, the government will be passing on our GP medical records to, I don't know, that's the thing. It's going to be collected and then given to whomever the government allows. Now, this isn't the first time that the government have given our medical data away. In 2019, Health Secretary Matt Hancock gave Amazon full and free access to NHS health data. Hancock justified this by saying, well, Amazon would develop capacity within their Alexa devices to offer health advice, but the data can and will be used for advertising and other purposes for profit. And we didn't even charge any money for it either. We didn't even make any money. We just gave it away. And as if that weren't bad enough, the government also involved Palantir in NHS Data deals as well. Now, for those unfamiliar with either Palantir or Tolkien, the Palantir were the stones used in Lord of the Rings for spying and sowing misinformation. An apt name for a very shady data company. If you search news stories involving Palantir, you never get a news story that is positive about them at all. And now the government are going to collect our GP medical data. Now, the way it's billed is that this will be completely anonymous and used for health and care planning. And here's the thing, the use of anonymised data for this purpose is really important. I'd be fully in support of it. Under normal circumstances, no problem with this at all, and many people might reasonably not have a problem with the way it is right now. See, primary care planning will be more effective with these data. And being anonymous, you'd think it's not a huge problem to share your medical information. It's fair enough. And ordinarily, I'd be going, yeah, that's fine. However, although I absolutely accept that the data will be used for health and care planning, it will also be sold off or even just given away to those who wish to use it for profit. We have a government that is moving us towards a privatised healthcare model. Now, I had someone trying to poke at me this weekend by going, oh, by the way, Tony Blair's Labour government did this and this and this, and listing a few things that I'm certainly not proud of, and I don't think many in Labour should be proud of. Some of them weren't true. The odd one was true. Labour, for example, increased the level of privatisation in the NHS. Yes, absolutely true. Something I was and still am against. But they also tried to say that the level of privatisation remains the same now. It does not. At the last audit, the level of privatisation in the NHS was about 27%. That is funding that is supposed to be for the NHS going to private organisations. Sometimes directly, but sometimes they funnel it through the local authorities to make it sound like it's public money, but those local authorities or NHS trusts have to give it to private companies. Since then, more previously publicly funded healthcare services have been privatised as well, including child cancer care. And I don't even want to think how the VIP lane for dodgy COVID contracts has skewed the figure now. We are headed to an American-style, unregulated private health insurance model. The people in charge of the country now have all in the past talked up that model. It won't happen overnight, but we are moving quite quickly towards it now. The Conservatives used to move fairly carefully towards it. Now, reckless abandon means that I don't even know where we're going to be for the next election, but I can be quite sure if the Conservatives win 100% of the power at the next election, by the time they are removed, that it's just going to be privatised, and that's all there is to it. And what happens in America is people are denied medical insurance on the grounds of health status or even family history at times. Bad enough that they have to pay more than we do for a poorer service, unless you're rich. Some are not allowed that insurance even if they can pay. It's not even the case that they have to pay more for their healthcare than we do for ours. Some of them are just not allowed to even get that health insurance. And there's an extra fiddle in the American system as well, because Healthcare's private. You know, the insurance companies are therefore offering a service and there's a certain amount of competition in the industry. So they need to pretend that they're giving you a fantastic deal so that you sign up with them. The ones who are allowed insurance, that is, sign up with them and not their competitors. So they work with the hospitals who have hugely inflated prices for their services and then give the same services to the insurance companies for the real fee. So, you know, if something costs, a treatment costs a certain amount of money, the hospitals charge 5 times as much, but if you go in there on the insurance, you get it at the normal price, and then the insurance company gets to say they're giving you an 80% reduction. So if you can afford the insurance, you may be okay, but if you can't get insurance and you have to pay for treatment, you are paying the massively inflated prices if you want medical care. In the UK, we pay according to our means. The system set up by Labour established a national insurance scheme to make sure that everyone would be able to get the care they needed when they needed it. No small print about exceptions, no getting huge medical bills and worrying that the insurance company might try and find a way to get out of paying it. When you need treatment, you get treatment, and that's all there is to it. You're not going to get any scenes in this country of someone who's gashed their leg open at a train station and pleading with people not to call an ambulance. And that's where we come back to this medical data. It will be used for a number of things. It will be used by the government to help in planning. This is fine. It will also be given to people who will use it to target advertising. That's not so fine. And it will also be used by insurance companies in order to deny people health insurance once we move to that unregulated privatised healthcare model. As such, I'm not all that keen on allowing my data, even anonymised data, to be used in this way. The government have a form with which you can opt out by end of June, but I think June the 23rd to make sure it all goes through, which I have reluctantly filled in myself. I wasn't necessarily going to do a video on this. I've had so many people talking to me about it. I thought, right, I better just do a video to show that I am aware of it. Yes. Now, the thing is with the opt-out, you can opt out at any time. It's not like you've got until this date and then it's too late. You can always opt out at any time. But any data that's already been collected before you opt out will remain in that database. You don't get to tell them to remove it. And because they're going to collect it on the 1st of July, if you want to do it, and you may not, I have done it, you need to sort it out, you know, before the end of June. So you can only stop them getting future information if you opt out later is the key thing. Now, the opt-out form itself, I thought was a little bit shady, I have to say. Because you read on the government website, it says, if you want to opt out of this thing, here's the form. So I read the form, and the form seems to suggest that the opt-out is for data that isn't anonymised. Doesn't seem to include the anonymous data. And I thought, well, they're saying that this is anonymised. But the site is clear that if you fill out these opt-out forms, that prevents that GP data being collected for this scheme. So it's clear about that, which I've also screenshotted it. Not that I'm saying that people should do it themselves. This isn't sort of urging people to do it themselves. I'm merely setting out where my position of mistrust comes from, why I've done it myself. And as I say, I was prompted to do this because there's a lot of people been drawing my attention to it. Phil, you must know about this thing. I know about the thing. So those are my thoughts on it, really. It's a particularly common and insidious trick, I think, of this government to get us to act against our interests by telling us that some good will come of it. And this is particularly unpleasant. See, here's the thing. Like I said, the fact that it would be used for planning, I'm fine with. So why, for example, is the opt-out only for allowing the data to be collected? Why isn't it this? So, for example, if I could give my permission for the data to be used only for the planning of publicly funded care and just opt out of that data ever going to third parties or anyone outside of the Department for Health and Social Care, I would. The government are effectively blackmailing us by saying that if I act to stop private companies getting my medical data, I'm also preventing the data being used for noble purposes as well. Aren't I nasty for making it harder to plan for primary care? Well, I don't respond well to coercion like that. So when the government decide to adopt a system whereby they can give me an opt-out on the third party access to my data, when they allow me to keep it out their rotten VIP lane, then they can have it for care planning. Until then, I am opting out. Wouldn't normally, but on this occasion, I've had enough. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.